show about these stupid cartoons you people, and now I'm going to vomit and then scan these after I've done vomiting on the pages. What is this crap? All this stupid, I hate you, hate you, hate you. Oh, I don't care anymore. Also, I guess, also Batman now. The end. Woo!
Best bedtime story ever. Good night.
I think people should read this to their children.
Yeah, if your child,
I would love to.
Jim.
I think that's what they read Trency at night, and that's why he's, well, yeah.
Trency's
Do we take more questions while he's doing his thing out there? Sure, certainly.
All right. So, anyone have any questions about Coda Setsuji or anything like that? Shoot.
Do we have another story?
Another story. We're first
Can I have your story, please?
Oh, God, not that one.
Yes, please.
Oh, the judge.
Okay.
Now, mind you, Mayrin said this and when it was kind of a depressing time to try to cheer everyone up. Or out of cosplay, of course, as...
Yeah, there was a friend of ours going through a hard time. We were all trying to tell jokes to cheer her up, and apparently this one really, really, really caught on with Jim. So, could I get an audience volunteer? Yes, you there, waving your hand around.
Me?
Yes, what is your name?
Yummy.
Yami. Okay, stay there, Yami. I just need to use your name, that's all.
Okay.
So, once upon a time, there were these three archaeologists named Jim, Trancy, and Yami. They were the best of friends. They went off doing archaeology things together all the time. But they weren't really very, good or realistic archaeologists. They were just the kinds you see on television. They're always getting into adventures, but don't actually do much that involves actual archaeology. Anyway, one time they were on this big dig in Egypt. It was this amazing new pyramid that had just been discovered. They were exploring deep into its depths. So they go in and they're exploring, and way down at the very bottom they find this long dark corridor with 3 doors set into it. So, Yomi goes up to the first door and reads it. There's a sign on it. And it says, after a bit of translation from whatever language it was written in, whoever enters this door will die a death by fire. So she thinks, I'll risk it. She opens the door, goes in, and inside the room is filled with golden goblets and ruby necklaces and all sorts of wonderful jewels and treasure. So she thinks, wow, nice deal. And she starts grabbing all of this jewels and treasure and money. She starts stuffing in her pockets, stuffing in her backpacks. She grabs as much as she can, and then suddenly she hears a click. And she thinks, oh crap. And she runs out, and she slams the door shut, and just as she does so, the room fills with fire. And she thinks, hey, job well done. Missed that bullet, and hey, I have all this awesome treasure to show for it. So they move on to the next door. Jim looks at this one, reads it. Whoever dares to enter this door will die death by water. So Jim thinks, well, you only got out in time. I can totally handle this. Goes in and finds sapphires and emeralds and silver and platinum and even more wonderful treasure than was in the first room. So Jim starts filling all the bags and all the pockets. And then again there's that click. Runs outside, slams the door just as the room floods. Gets to the very last door. This one, of course, is Trancy's. But the sign on it, there's something unusual. It's not quite as pretty and inlaid. It's kind of more scratchy. And when it's read, all it says is, whoever dares enter this room will die death by, and then it's all scribbled out like some horrible beast had clawed it away. So Trancy opens the door. So there's no treasure, there's no gold, there's no silver, there's not anything except this black, scratched up looking coffin sitting in the very center of the room. And because Trancy is not a very good archaeologist, all Trancy thinks is, oh, well, that kind of sucks, and shuts the door again and walks away. Anyway, so after this dig, the 3 best friends decide that, it's kind of time to stop doing archaeology stuff for a while, split whatever treasure they found 3 ways, and just go their separate ways to live whatever lives they choose. And because none of them are very clever, they decide the best plan is to just split it 3 ways, and whichever one of them dies first will leave half of their fortunes, one of them, and half of the fortunes, the other remaining. Then the second person who dies will leave all of it to the third, who just kind of wins. As they go off and they live their lives. And 5 years later, Trancy is coming downstairs in the big, wonderful mansion that, now owns, and reads the morning paper because Trancy always checks the obituaries just in case one of her best friends from years and years ago has died a wonderful death and left her all this money. And she reads that, well, Yomi has died in a mysterious house fire that nobody can find the origin for. Trancy is now that much wealthier, so she thinks, well done me. Gets half the fortune, moves on. Another 5 years pass. Same thing. Goes downstairs, reads the morning paper, and this time it's Jim. Died in a boating accident. Trancy's the last one left, now with the massive fortune that all three of the friends have obtained. But then here's the odd thing. Another 10 years after all of that, she's checking the paper again, not for the obituaries, because she doesn't care who else has died at this point, but just, to catch up on the news. And she notices, gradually, there are beginning to be more and more news stories of these mysterious sightings of a lone black coffin just spotted here and there along the roads in Africa. And she thinks, well, that's unusual, but she doesn't remember the coffin from years and years ago, because she only saw it for like a minute, she didn't care. But, it's just an old news story that she quickly forgets about, except that it's getting more and more media attention, because more and more people are seeing it, not just in Africa now, but bobbing along the Atlantic. And then it starts showing up in the Americas. And she realizes, as she's following these stories, that it's getting closer and closer and closer to where she lives. So, one day, she starts to open the paper, but just as she does so, she looks out the window, and she sees at the very end of her drive, the black coffin. And it's hopping towards her, just moving somehow under the power of its own will, and it's coming up towards the house. And she gets pretty freaked out at this point, and she starts to remember the curse from years and years ago when she was in that pyramid. So, she slams the door, she runs upstairs, she's doing everything she can to barricade the way and just escape. And she's running up the stairs and up the stairs to the mansion, and she gets to the top floor, and there's no one else to run. And still, she can hear the coffin just thump, 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 coming along, down the corridors, through all the barricades. And she runs into the bathroom, the nearest door, and she slams the door, and she tries to block it, but still thump, thump, thump it comes, and it crashes through the door. And in a panic, she starts to grab everything she can and just throw it at it. She grabs shampoo bottles, she grabs hairbrushes, she just throws them, nothing is stopping it. And then finally she grabs a bottle of cough medicine, flings it at it, and that stops the coffin.
And my favorite part of the story is Trancy lives again!
Woo! Well, I was just...
You really use your mortal.
No!
Okay, well, we're going to get started with the game. Basically, this game is called Sentences. What's going to happen is that two of us are going to grab 3 sentences, and then we are going to